And we are back. And we are still on the record with Anil Roberts, the Honorable Minister of Sport. Minister, you were saying something earlier on about the question of managing each and every NSO, telling them what to do. There's a difference between saying, get your house in order, this is the pathway to get, like Sambo guy just now. What is Anil Roberts' role right now? What is your...
Right, let me tell you. And let's also deal with Sambo also. Sambo is a new sport. It falls under martial arts and fighting and karate and so on. There are many different brands. There are many different... And if the ministry was to support each and every one, you'd need a separate ministry of combat arts and fighting. So everybody has to go through. Sambo is a new sport. It has to go through the process just like Taekwondo did. Now BMX is becoming, because BMX is going to be an Olympic sport in 20...
It is already.
And now golf is coming. So Sambo has to go through that process. There is a small pie for everyone to share. We have 41 recognized NGBs, national sporting organizations already. So if Sambo is going and moving that way, it has to go through the process, not coming and crying and going, Minister don't want. Minister has nothing to do with that.
So there's no umbrella for combat sports?
There's none yet. And now you have
so Sambo, maybe you need to talk with Purple Dragon, get all together with
for example, look at auto sport.
Taekwondo is an Olympic sport.
You now understand. So, for example, you have auto sport. You have the karting. You have solo decks. You have bike. You have drag racing. You have circuit. You have rally and so on. They came under one umbrella. So when they come now to the ministry, they come under the ministry in one umbrella so that they can get funding. If they come as 25 different people, as 50,000 different people, you don't have enough money to do that. The same thing with karate. You have karate, you have Washukan, you have Wushukan, you have Shotokan, you have all of these different clubs and so on. Each individual one cannot just come because they are about 170. No, these sporting organizations have to go through what we call a service level agreement. Where you ask me is, why do I sometimes, with certain federations, micromanage? If you want to say it's micromanaging, no big thing, because I have been put in charge of the people's money, not my money, not Anil Roberts' money, it's your money that you work hard for and you pay your tax dollars. When I give, or when not me, when the ministry gives money to an organization, the ministry has no control whatsoever after that, because they are autonomous. So the only times we have control is before we give you the money and after. So when we give you money and you have not accounted for it and so on properly, then the minister and his policy will come in and say, listen, you cannot take money, for example, with Mr. Tony Harford, that is for $992,000 for salaries for people, for the coach, the assistant coach, the trainer, the ball man. You cannot take that money and pay your all-sport company. That is wrong. You came here for money for a specific reason, and therefore it must, when taxpayers' dollars are to be spent, it must be spent properly. When you see hockey with Mr. Douglas Camacho, he is allocated, his federation is allocated $1.88 million. When they reach 2.1, which they are over, and therefore somebody else, whether it is archery or badminton or somebody, squash or somebody, is being cut $200,000 for hockey's inability to manage their funds properly. And then they run to the media and say, Minister, I don't like hockey and blah, 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 and make noise. It does not work like that. There's a system, a budgeting system. You must stay with your allocation and move forward.
And I want to ask you a question. The NSOs, the National Sporting Organizations, of which you say there are 41 registered.
Yeah.
Last year, they received a total of, I believe it was $53 million. Life Sport gets something like 80-something million. We're seeing a marked change in the way the ministry is spending and the way the ministry is focusing its spending away from these organized sporting bodies, which I would say, for the record, on the record, most of them in a mess. Straight up. Get your house in order. But we're seeing it a trending, not just a trend, a vast shift away from NSO-based things, which are basketball, football, cricket, netball, and track and field being your core sports. So now you're starting to see rural developmental sport. You're starting to see live sport. You're starting to see more spending on things like summer sport programs. What is that? Explain that, translate that vision for me here.
Fantastic. What you said is brilliant, but there's no shift. Remember the Auditor General report And I couldn't understand. In the Express, they said something had to be wrong with the Ministry of Sport because over the last 3 years, they've increased their spending by 1,227%. I thought, well, that is fantastic. I look myself in the mirror and say, boy, well done. You have gone in there. You have looked at the Prime Minister and the Cabinet and you have said, put sport on the agenda. Put sport where it means something. Take sport off of the recreational style. So is the Minister of Sport just to drive in a Prado? No. Sport is a meaningful, sport is like education. Sport is like health. Sport can create jobs. Sport can diversify the economy. Larry Hawaii has read sport. Sport is now in the business side. So I said, well done. So we increase the allocation and the spending in sports. So nothing has shifted. So it has not been that we've taken money from the NGBs to go into other areas. We've expanded. In fact, in 2002 to 2005, the Honorable Roger Boynes spent in that 6-year period 100 million on NGBs and sporting organizations. Good. That's an average of about 17 million a year. The Honorable Gary Hunt, 2007 November, 2008 to 2010, that 3 years, he spent 106 million. So he went up from Roger Boynes. Very good. He averaged like 33, 34 million dollars for NGBs and so on. 2011 to 2013, I have moved that up to 176 million in 3 years, an average of $65 million for NGBs. So the spending that goes to the NGBs, those 41, has increased from 35 million to 30. Simultaneously now, sport has taken a more meaningful part in the society. So rural development, you heard it. Crime now, live sport. What live sport is, we have many programs. We have education system that says to our children, you're not good at maths and English, you can't get into some whatever school, you're no good.
Project this forward for me.
Right.
You're saying that because these NSOs, for instance, entry A's, track and field,
more
body,
money.
they asked for, in the fiscal year 2013, they asked for 7.2, Ministry of Sport give them 3.4.
Pause.
Hold on, I ain't pause yet, just now. Cycling Federation. Also, they had a 3.7 million deficit from the budget.
You see, right, go ahead.
So what they got.
Understand the system now. When I go to Larry Hawaii, I ask for 1.5 billion. I got in the 700.
Yes, close to 700.
Well, 700, I didn't get what.
Part.
Right, so half, 700.
Right.
Right, so I didn't get what I asked for.
Right.
Under Dukaran, when I asked for 1.2 billion, I get 112 million, 8.7%. What I get, what the ministry gets on the Minister of Finance now has to go to the 41 NGBs. So entries could ask for 20 million. Very good. I could ask you to pay me a salary of 300,000. It doesn't matter. What you get, what you have to compare is that 3.7 that they got is up from the year before and up from 3 years before and up from 4 years before. What
they're complaining about, though, Anil, is that they're saying that the deficit is going in the areas where they cannot control, where your ministry has taken over the control. Development issues, primary school sport, secondary school sport.
Pause. Not true at all, because understand this, and we just said it. All these NGBs are autonomous.
Yeah.
Autonomous. The minister cannot tell them what to do, who to pick, where to put their money, how to do it.
Unless it's football.
No, how could they?
I don't know, but you're managing to tell them what to do.
Me telling who to do what?
It is alleged.
It is alleged. No. They hire coach. I mean, I like the coach now. He's doing very well.
Hey, good
Same hard.
Big
They didn't tell the minister. They didn't tell the minister. They do their thing. Now we're going to have to pay the bill. No, but all right.
Actually, FIFA paying the bill.
For them, but
nobody else getting paid though.
Right.
18 coaches.
No, they are going to get paid. The ministry about the process.
On the record,
of course.
coaches, you're going to get paid. Wives, please do not stop. Don't start the whole no boss head thing.
Of course.
Seriously.
Don't harass the ministry. Of course, the way the Ministry of Finance works and so on, they frown upon retroactive payment. So we have to work with the Ministry of Finance in order to get the funding, but they will be paid. Now, that is the ministry working with organizations, even though they may have erred in their processes and their accounting and their management of their requests and so on. But that's the way we operate and we work. Now, the associations are autonomous. Now, the ministry says, listen, you ask for 7, great. Everybody gets about 35 to 48% of what they ask for based on their track record of accountability. They're sticking to the policy. The government's policy is 60% of your money should be spent on development. The primary school, the junior, the coaching, coach education, and so on. For example, hockey. Hockey spent in 88% of their money on elite traveling, just flying here and there. So they are in breach of the policy. But the minister don't come out and bash everybody. But we have to understand, when you come to report, these are the questions that will be asked. You go through, how did you spend? But when you are saying, for example, entry is saying that they want 7 million, great. They could want 20 million. They can get what is available based on the economic situation and what the
Tennis Association.
Yeah.
Right? Spoke with Kendall Coffey. They're saying that because of the way the money is given out to them, they have no other choice but to spend it on the elite athlete. Right? So they have to go to the Davis Cup. They have to go to the Fed Cup. They have to send these athletes. Right. Otherwise, they will get penalized, which you're not going to pay that bill.
Fantastic. Brilliant. That statement by that gentleman shows that he's totally inefficient and ineffective in managing sport. Pause. Because all he's depending on is the ministry. Hold on. The ministry is not here to fund all your business. Right. You have to get off your tush, make a business plan, a strategic plan, go and try and get sponsors.
They have. Let's be fair. All of these, if not all of these NSOs, majority of them through the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee. Hold on.
No, pause.
I had to go take a break. Before we go there, I had to dry off because I'm starting to get sweaty. It's starting to get hot in here. We're coming right back. We on the record.